Hello and welcome to yet another video, and in this video it is something a bit different than usual because in this video we're not going to be talking about older cameras or doing photo shoot per se, but in this video I got another challenge, and that challenge is to find another camera as well. If you remember, around the end of last year, I think end of November or something, there was a challenge as well that I had to find a camera setup for under 50 euros, and I found an old DSLR, Nikon DSLR setup for under 50 euros as well. And in this video, the challenge is to find a full-frame DSLR under 250 euros. That's not the cliche 5D Classic and the D700, apparently. So yeah, okay, 250 euros. That's not 5D Classic or D700, okay. And I have 24 hours to look for it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So as usual, I'll be starting with websites of camera stores in my, in the country where I'm living, because that will always help, and if I can spell it correctly. And then I'm also going to be looking at secondhand marketplaces like Facebook marketplaces, and also eBay equivalent here in my country, and also looking at eBay itself, just to have a look at the different price ranges that are available for different full-frame cameras. And I'll just be typing in first full-frame cameras, and then I'll also be looking at specific names like the D800. I think that camera should be old by now. Well, it is old. The 5D Mark III, because just like the past 2 months I've been seeing the price dropping from like 600 down to like 350. Maybe you can get lucky with 250. I'm really having low expectations here. And also one thing that the price already dictates is that I'm not going to be getting a low shutter actuation count cameras, but I don't really care about shutter actuations because to be honest, it doesn't really matter anymore. I learned that actually 14 years ago, no, actually more like 10 years ago, I learned that even if the camera is rated for like 500,000 shots or 300,000 shots, sometimes you still have the shutter replacement at already 3,200 or 32,000. And I also know photographers who are using their cameras at already shutter actuations of 2 million, or some of them at around 900,000 shots already. So yeah, it really depends on, you know, what the camera has been through, and also how the camera was treated, what type of photos the cameras were taking, because the shutter actuation counts doesn't really contribute that much to even 5% or 10% of what the camera has been through. So yeah, there's that. Just gonna search for like full frame cameras, and also just going to, MPB is also a good one. Not sponsored, but I love MPB. They are pretty good. And just going for SLR cameras in general, because I think we would get more, just look for deals that you're more likely to get results from. So with full frame mirrorless cameras, I think it is still possible with the A7. I know that if you look hard enough, the A7 is still can be there, but I think with DSLRs being an older technology and also not as much of a hype anymore, you still can get that low, like within the 250 euros limit easier. So yeah, there is that. Price sorting, low to high, of course. Brand doesn't matter, condition doesn't matter, sensor size, of course, full frame, apply. Ooh, they actually have the 5D Mark II for 179 euros. Okay, I'm still on MPB after, you know, searching for a few of the results already. The 5D Mark II is, well, it seems to be a promising result if you don't mind the condition being like the flaps are missing, a lot of scratches on the screens and things like that. The good thing about MPB and some other marketplaces is that you do get like the actual pictures of the product. so that's good. But yeah, let me see if I can actually do better than the 5D Mark II. That is another legendary camera, and I still have my original 5D Mark II since when it came out. Well, not really since when it came out, since when it was still brand new. I bought it in 2011 or 2010. I think 2010, forgot. But yeah, let me see if I can do better than the 5D Mark II. In some cases, I think it's also pretty good to set reminders, not reminders, but like notifications if there are new products. Just got another notification. If there are new products are added into the category, so let's say if you're searching for like a 5D Mark II or a 6D or the D800 or what have you, or the 850, I don't know, whatever. It's always good to set like notifications whenever those new products are added into the marketplace, whether it's eBay or other secondhand sites, things like that, so that you will always see the offers first. And then if the budget match, or if the price matches your budget, then you can just, you know, pull the trigger right away. In this case, I'm really looking at like 5D Mark II, 6D, the D800, the D610, things like that, and there's just a lot of cameras in the notifications right now. So yeah, we'll see. Ooh. Hey, I just found a really interesting option. So this is the D800. It is for bidding, but it seems like this is what the seller wants for 250. I don't know. It's just like within our price limit. But I'm gonna send the like a message to the seller now and see if I can collect it. And also see if it's still available, because this option is much more interesting than the 5D Mark II option, to be quite frank with you. The 5D Mark II is a great camera, don't get me wrong, but the D800 is still better of a camera in the way of like the dynamic range, the resolution, the sensor readout, just in pretty much all aspects. The only downside is if you care about shutter actuation, this actually has almost 300,000 shutter actuation, over 200,000 shutter actuation. But again, as I told you earlier, I don't care about shutter actuation because it doesn't tell even 5% of what the camera has been through. It doesn't really tell the condition of the camera that much. So yeah, I personally don't mind. It's not like the camera will stop working at exactly 300,000 shots. So yeah, I'll give it a go. Oh, I wasn't selected on the right thing. Let's see. Yeah. Just have to wait for the reply. But in any case, if this camera is no longer available, then obviously we'll go with the 5D Mark II. And with the extra money saves, we can probably get a lens. But yeah. Okay, that was a quick reply. Okay, this video is actually not that much of a challenge that I thought it was gonna be. So the camera is available, and the price is fixed at $250, and he lives in a countryside, not in the city center of that particular city. So I'm gonna head out now. He said that he'll be available anytime after 5 p.m. and right now it's afternoon. So I better get going because it's gonna be a long train journey. almost 6. I'm going to grab the camera now. Hopefully everything will work out. Yeah, kind of nervous since I've never been to this part of the Netherlands. Breda, yes, but not to the complete outside of the city skirt. So going back will also be a challenge. Yeah, there was already some bus delays getting here, but we'll see. Let's hope there's no more delays when I'm heading back. So yeah. So quiet. No racking feeling.
Large one, half one.
Half one was this.
Yeah, half one.
Thank you. Just got it. I just mounted like my kit lens on here because just to be small and light. The seller was really friendly. At first I was really nervous because after ringing the bell, it didn't work. But at the end, they turned out to be really friendly, and he's a real estate photographer, and he uses like 2 D850s, so that's why he wasn't using this. The condition is obviously used. You can see the marks, scuffs, and things like that. But overall, I think it's still a very good camera, simply because, so technically speaking, the sensor is still good, the autofocusing system is still good. Well, judging from the time period that was released in. Yeah, so while waiting for my bus, I'm just gonna be photographing a little bit around this neighborhood and then heading back. So yeah. So apparently the bus came early and the next bus is in like half an hour at least, and it's just so out that I'm not sure if it's even gonna come, because according to the timetable it will be here in half an hour, but according to Google Map it's gonna probably be here in almost an hour's time, I think. So I just decided to call Uber to send me to the main train station here, but in the meanwhile I'm just gonna be playing with this camera. It so far reminds me of why I still love DSLR so much. The feeling of it, the overall handling of it, the thought processing putting into it. I miss my 5D Mark III, for example. I don't know, there's just that really nice feeling of using a DSLR again, and I guess I'll be using this until I'm home. So yeah. Thank you. It's now the next day. It's really hot. May is proving to be a really hot month. I know I cannot complain because my friends in Southeast Asia are having it worth between 40 up to like 47 degrees Celsius, so 25 degrees is still manageable, but in the same time, for me, it's super hot. It really is. Anyway, I'm going off topic. The D800, I really personally enjoy using this camera, and I think I mentioned it in yesterday's video, well, in this video, but from yesterday, that personally, this camera makes me remember why I love shooting with DSLRs so much. Of course, I love shooting my 1DX and everything. That's a huge camera, and I love the process. I love the autofocusing system. I love the size. I love the color science and everything. But in this case, I also like remember why I love my 5D Mark III so much. I don't have my 5D Mark III anymore, if you remember that. Yeah, it's just the overall feeling that it's very, very different from shooting with, let's say, my R5 right here, which is oops, sorry, I just bumped you guys, which is a fantastic camera, don't get me wrong, it really is a fantastic camera. But sometimes it feels weird to say this because back in DSLR days, we also say this about film cameras where it allows you to appreciate the process. DSLRs allows that now as well in the way that film cameras used to and still do, makes you feel that you appreciate the process and everything. But in the same time, because of the optical viewfinder, it really makes me, you know, feel connected with the overall environment and everything. Oh, and there's one thing that I turn off right away when I got this camera is, first of all, the autofocusing beep. I turn that off on every camera. Secondly, the annoying AF assist lamp. I turn that off on all of my Nikon cameras because those are super annoying. I just turn it back on when I'm making videos and if I just feel like illustrating it to you guys on, you know, how it's like. But, well, yeah. Otherwise, it's really annoying to use it in the field. But yeah, I really love the build quality. It feels like a tank and that's good. I love it much more than the D600 that I talked about on my channel before last year. So yeah, and I don't know, it's overall a really nice camera, and personally, my take on the over 240,000 shutter is that I don't care. I really don't care. I know a lot of people care about shutter actuations, but it doesn't tell the full story, and it doesn't even tell 10% of the story on how the camera was used. What if the camera was, you know, owned by the let's say a time-lapse photographer where they can have literally tens of thousands of images done in just a matter of weeks. You know, it doesn't really say a lot. The camera wasn't really put through a lot of pressure. In this case, the photographer that I bought this camera from, he was and still is a real estate photographer. So, and also based here in the Netherlands. So I know that I'm used to the weather condition, I'm used to the environment condition here, and I know that the D800 will just be fine with the Dutch environment, things like that, or at least Western and Northern European environment. It's gonna survive. Secondly, I've used enough professional cameras to know that even if cameras were to have the claim of, you know, shutter life of 300,000 actuations, it can actually break down even before 3200 shutter actuations, and you need a shutter replacement. And I also know that some professionals have it, like, are still using cameras with over 2 million shutter actuations because they are sports photographer or they are the time-lapse photographer. So using a lot of shutter actuations, it's natural in their line of work. So yeah, by judging a camera just purely based on its shutter actuation, that's very shallow because it doesn't tell like 10% of the story of the camera or even 5%. So I stopped caring about that already. But yeah, there is that. Looking at the files, I really appreciate the color signs out of the I was about to say D300, D800. I remembered when it first came out, I really wanted one as well, but I was, you know, only using one camera brand, which was Canon at the time, and it was a natural progress from the 5D Mark II to 5D Mark III at the time because of my lenses and everything. But, you know, using it now, it still feels a camera that screams quality. Yes, it doesn't shoot 4K in video, but I don't buy it for video. And yes, it doesn't have the greatest autofocusing system in the world, but I don't use it for that either. It's a very nice and enjoyable camera to still go out and take pictures with, which is pretty much what I need. That still delivers great details, great image quality and things like that. And for 250 euros, I think I can't go wrong with this camera. Of course, there are already signs of an old camera because it's a very common problem with Nikon older DSLRs in general is that their buttons stick sometimes and you have to put a bit of pressure on them. So there is that, but to be honest, that's not going to stop me from, you know, not using this camera or not enjoying this camera. So yeah, there is that. I hope you can actually gain something from this video. I hope you can enjoy my little challenge that I set for myself, and also yesterday how my adventure went. On the way back, I'm not sure if I explained it, but like when my Uber arrived, it arrived in the exact same time as my bus arrived. And that bus wasn't like, it wasn't even on the timetable on the at the station, and it wasn't in Google Maps. In Google Maps, it told me that the bus will be there in like the next bus would come in like almost an hour, and on the timetable on the at the station, I would need to wait for like at least half an hour for the next bus. So I was like, no, it's way too hot, and I need to get back to my city before I would have to catch a night train pretty much. So yeah, I called Uber, and I guess the bus that I was supposed to take came late, like really late, that when my Uber arrived, the bus arrived, and I was cursing so bad. I didn't film that for you guys, but yeah, there's that little adventure. But yeah, I hope you all can just well, enjoy this video a little bit. I will making a my thought video on this camera. Of course, you can probably see already that I'm kind of like in love with this camera again, and just falling in love with DSLR all over again, because I still love the DSLRs, to be honest. A lot of my mirrorless cameras do feel like just computer boxes, like the A7 IV that's filming me right now. The R5 still has a bit of soul in there, but in the same time, nothing beats shooting something like the 1DX, the 5D Mark III, 5D Mark IV, the D800, the D750, things like that. They are still great cameras, and I still would recommend them. And yeah, if you have enough patience, and if you're willing to bargain, negotiate, being polite of course, and also just go and bid rather than buying it now, options, you will be able to find quality cameras, assuming you don't have too much requirements on how clean it should look, or if it should still be in mint condition, or if it should be under certain shutter actuation levels, because clearly this has over 240,000 shutter actuations, and personally I just don't care. Yeah, there is that. So yeah, I hope you can actually enjoy this video. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any experience, any stories to share, feel free to just comment down in the comment section below. If you need a free photography guidebook, it's absolutely for free on my website. Just click and download. I will not bombard you with any newsletter nonsense. And also, no need to submit your email address, nothing. And if you want to watch some of my photography courses, online courses, then it's also available. The free photography online courses are still in progress. I was hoping to get it done in March or April, but I'm still working on some of the final touches with the models. So yeah, it's to be released somewhere in May or June, no later than end of June. That's a promise I'm making. So yeah, I thank all of you very much for your support and everything. I wish you all a great time. Stay safe, have fun shooting. Till next time, bye for now.